Okay, let's check this out and see if anything's moved here on us. Well, it looks okay to me. I have sometimes had a problem though when I leave these clamps on a piece of wood for a long period of time, that for some reason there's something that comes out of this black rubber and gets on the wood. Now, it wouldn't be a serious thing because I am going to be sanding this down. But probably if I had been smart, I would have taken these clamps off yesterday and redone it. I've put the bit in this drill and I've set the depth about the same as we had yesterday. I'm noticing some of these holes I didn't get quite square, but I think we can probably manage. And I'm going to do them all by hand here. I think this one's the worst for not being centered. And the last two. Okay, now we take the clamps off and I drill these holes out on the back a little bigger so that they're just slightly larger than the screw. Maybe that's not how you do it, but that's the way I do it. Well, I seem to have got them pretty well centered. I have now chosen a bit which is just ever so slightly larger than the threads. Just give it a little bit of wiggle room. Well, by the way, when you're doing something like this, gotta watch out for this. Yesterday we spent a lot of time watching holes being drilled. Today we're just gonna do one, and you already know what's gonna happen to the other 7. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, going to want to make sure I've got my slip clutch set at its weakest setting. I don't want to have to be filling these holes with something and then and I also don't want to drop the screws down there. I actually did one yesterday, and fortunately I used my long magnet thing here to fish it out. It was kind of handy. Actually, I use this thing a lot. It really saves on having to bend over and pick up stuff off the floor. Now, of course, it won't work on wood. Okay. Oh. Okay, that's the weakest. Let's see if that's strong enough. Yeah, that's good enough for a test. Maybe not. Okay. Now the next time I take this off and put it back, the idea is it should go back probably within, I'm guessing 1/100th of an inch of the exact same spot. So what we're going to do now is mark along here and cut these sides off just outside the line I'm going to draw, because I can always sand down to it later, and that's the plan actually, to sand right down to the sides here on the edge sander. Same thing on the top. Now I was going to use this dollar store mechanical pencil, but I'm finding that when I use this on this wood, it's very hard to see that fine lead. So I found this one right here, and I could be wrong, but I think that used to belong to my daughter when she was a little girl, or at least in junior high. So kind of use it for nostalgia's sake here. Oh, by the way, this line is all going to get sanded away, so it doesn't matter if it's kind of, you know what I mean. I should be able to see this okay. Okay, now that we know we can put it on, let's see if we can take it off here. All right. Now, cut this off just outside of this line that I drew. And that's nice and visible. You know, moving this fence over here like this, it reminds me of a suggestion that one of the viewers made in yesterday's comments, and at first I didn't think too much of it, but then I thought, you know, I got to remember that, and I'm going to pass it on to you, because it's a really good idea. And I'll move the camera around so it's at right angles to the, or perpendicular to the fence here. Well, I guess it'd be perpendicular this way. Okay, just let me lock this in place here. Now, do you remember yesterday, I think it was yesterday, I was trying to adjust the hood so that it would be flush with the top of this board like this, and the viewer said he uses his fence to line things up. You know, it's it's nice and flat, and it's usually perpendicular to the tabletop. And he said, in the event that you wanted it offset a little bit, you just put a little shim in here, you know, something really thin, like 4 or 5 sheets of paper. And then you'd have the top would be proud of this, which is what I wanted yesterday. And then you could hold everything up tight this way. And yeah, I think you get the idea. So I thought I'd pass that on because it's a good idea. I got to remember that. Now, I don't know if you can see it here, but I noticed that there appeared to be a little nail or something sticking out right there. And I thought, what's that now? And then I remembered, oh yeah, when we put it through the drum sander, we had that little rail thing on there. and I use the headless pinner. So I'll just get that all the way in, out of the way. It only comes in maybe not even 1/4 of an inch. So let's just get rid of that here. I don't want it catching on the fence. That's about right. Now, get this out of the way. Now, I can do a couple of passes here. Now, the idea is to just leave the line. Maybe even a little bit more. I'll just do a bit of a test run here. And yeah, like I said, I don't want to be taking the line because I want to sand to it. Maybe that's a little bit too much. Let's try that. Oh, that looks like too much. Okay, now you may not be able to see it from way back there, but the line comes along like this, it goes in, and then it goes out right to the outside of this edge. So when I come along, I want to stop. I don't want to cut this off, or it's going to spoil the effect. And on all those clocks that I saw pictures of, the bottom of the Frisian tail, where it flared out, was always slightly wider than the case itself. So I want to try and have it as authentic as possible. Okay, let's see what we can do here. Well, I think that went pretty good. There was a couple of times there I thought I was getting pretty close to the line, but like I say, I think it went pretty good here. I'm just eyeballing it here. If I'm going to err, I better err on the side of caution. Can always take it off, but I can't put it back on. Okay, I think that's probably pretty good. I'll give it a whirl, and I can always readjust the fence if I have to go in just a little bit more. But like I say, I'm going to be using the edge sander. The edge sander will take something like this down real fast. So, you know, it's kind of powdery. What I'm doing now is I'm micro-adjusting the fence back and forth and back and forth. I want to get as close to the line as I can and still leave the line. Now I don't know why, because as I've said at least twice before, the edge sander will take that wood down really fast. Well, we got pretty close there at times. Like I say, the edge sander is going to take care of any little discrepancies. Now, to cut this, I can use this or I can use my bandsaw. If I use this, I'm going to have to change my blade, because this is a wonderful blade, except it doesn't have much of a kerf and it won't go around a corner that sharp. Strange but true. And I have to rig up some sort of a dust attachment here to catch the dust, which I could do, or I could use my bandsaw. Now I can envision the bandsaw working on this side. Let's see, how would that come now? I'd be feeding it in, it would go like that, it would twist this way, it would twist this way, and to do this one I would have to twist this way, and then back straight, yeah. But I don't know when I tried to do the other side with the bandsaw. I'm afraid that one end is going to hit the frame of the saw. Yeah. Decisions. I'm going to think about it, and I guess we'll find out tomorrow what I do. Because I don't want to go to a lot of work and then find out something's not working. Anyway, thank you for watching, and all being well, we'll see you tomorrow, and we'll cut this tail. Wonder why they call it a tail. Now to our Dutch clock collector Will. If you're listening, why do they call it a tail? In the comments below, please.